Why are less and less guys dating in today's world? This is one of those conversations where there seems to be no middle ground. People have very strong opinions either way. Some people say it's because of this reason, some people say it's because of that reason, and some people say it's not even true at all. Let's have a look at the truth and the reality for a lot of guys out there in today's world. So we're going to start off by acknowledging the fact that it is true. Less and less guys are dating, have had any experience in that regard, and I think that's a worrying thing, right? I think it's a worrying thing. I think social connection at every level is a very important thing for a healthy human, a healthy person. It's a very important thing to have the motivation to continue building up yourself, your business, your life, your goals. And without that, it seems that we are, or a lot of guys are in a very difficult situation. And I think that somewhat coincides with the fact that a lot of guys are depressed. A lot of guys are feeling like they're in lives that are basically meaningless because we get our meaning deeply, and I don't think anyone in the real world, and I know this is YouTube and the comment section, whatever, I don't think anybody in the real world can tell me that you don't get your most meaning from real life. If you're a child, you get it from your friends and your parents. If you're a young adult, you get it from your friends, your parents, your grandparents, your girlfriend, your friend, etc. I'm kind of just doubling the point, but you get the point. Maybe you get it from your kids, maybe you get it from your family, maybe you get it from your friends, whatever. We get our real value from the people that we interact with. And when we don't interact with people, or when we don't have that level of social connection, I think we're in worrying and challenging times. And yes, this is a thing. Now, it's the kind of thing that I would have not really acknowledged up until a couple of years ago, because I'm not trying to be that guy, but I've never really had issues in this regard. It's just not something that I have experienced, and I would have assumed that the same experience will be true for most people, but the more and more I see it, and the more and more I hear it, it's true. Guys are not dating anymore. They're just not. Obviously not all, a lot are, but a lot aren't. Like, a lot are not. And that is something at least worth acknowledging. So, again, this is the kind of conversation that a lot of people can't have. A lot of these guys say, well, it's because in today's world, women have unrealistic standards, or these girls aren't worth it. Now, in some instances, there is an argument for this, but at the same time, a lot of the people who say this don't have any understanding of what they're talking about at all. These are the people who live on social media echo chambers and don't go against anything that makes them challenge their own beliefs, because the truth of the matter is this. Look, some of these girls out there today are expecting unrealistic things, are not necessarily going to be the best partners to build a future with, but in the real world, the number of the population, or the percentage of the population, maybe it's different in the US to be fair, but here in the UK it's less than what they'd have you believe, right? Most girls, emphasis on that, most are normal, respectable, kind, polite. A lot of the problem comes from the guys, right? Now, that's a difficult thing to acknowledge, and here's a fact of the matter, right? Here's a fact. There's a lot of things in this world that we can't change. There's one thing that we can, and that's ourselves. We could point the finger at, oh, I'm not 6'5". I don't come from a rich family. I'm not... Look, shut up, man. I don't want to hear it. Quite frankly, I do not want to hear it, right? I don't want to hear it. It's always the people who say this that have no understanding. They say that they can't have any luck talking to girls in the real world, and then you ask, well, when did you last try this, right? Well, I go out and when I go to the shopping centre or a park, okay, and you spoke to this girl when? Well, I didn't actually. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, right? Here's the thing. A lot of the reason why guys aren't dating is because of the lifestyles that we live now, right? It's entirely possible to go about an average day, without having to interact with anyone, right? You guys know I run an online business, but I make sure to get myself out there. I'm at the gym, I'm going for walks, I'm at clubs, I'm with friends. And I think that's a big factor that helps me in the sense that, yeah, I meet people everywhere I go. But I think the phraseology or the phrasing of that itself is something to acknowledge. Everywhere I go to the gym, I go to the big cities. And this is a thing, right? People hear about the adventures that I do. Some of them I do completely by myself, right? Some of the things that I do completely by myself. I'm comfortable taking my place in the world. And a lot of these guys don't. I could, with the lifestyle that I live, right? I make money online. I could not leave the house. I could spend all day, every day in the house, right? I could get my shopping delivered. I could watch movies. I could, you know what I mean? I don't have to leave. I have to leave though, because a lot of these guys, they're not putting themselves in uncomfortable positions, and this is the truth. The guys talk about the fact they can't get a girlfriend, or the fact that these girls are not loyal or honest or whatever. Where do you speak to them? What female friends have you had? What female friends have you got? When's the last time you approached a girl in public? When's the last time you spoke to a girl at the bar, the club, in your class, whatever? If the answer's not like in the last month, don't speak on the matter. Don't speak on the matter at all. So I'm not saying that all of these guys are the basement-dwelling losers that people like to perceive. But what I am saying is this: even if you are the type of guy who goes about and has a normal life, right? If you go about have a normal life and you're not interacting with girls, you're not in a position to speak on this. You need to be speaking to people. You need to be putting yourself out there. That's a big point. So a lot of it comes from the fact that these guys are not putting themselves out there at all. Maybe some of the girls are not what they would expect or want, but they don't know that because they've not tried it. That's step one. You need to put yourself out there. You need to get out in the real world. Step two is this, and it goes back to step, I'd say 0, because I just called that step 1. A lot of these guys moan about the girls, but they do not want to acknowledge themselves, right? So, in a lot of these circles, and when I speak about it on the internet, like I've said before, this is the subject that is the most touchy, it seems. And I don't mean the fact it gets the most views, I don't mean the fact it gets the most dislikes or likes. The comments are very, very polarizing, right? Some people will agree, some people will say, well, you're a loser, or you can get girls because you're a this out of 10, or it's because, any kind of excuse. There's a lot of work that I do, that I have done to just get myself where I am now. And I'm nothing special. I'm like average, right, in every way. Looks I don't necessarily focus on at all. I don't really care. But look, I go to the gym multiple times a week. I'm building a business that hopefully is going to hit 6 figures in the next 12 months. What have you got? You're after these girls. You think that they should be paying attention to you when you're broke? You've got no ambition, you've got no drive, you've got no friends. You don't look good. You're not well maintained. Your clothes are not the best. You're not good in social interactions. These people are not based in reality, right? They're not based in reality. And here's the thing. I don't care what age you are. If you're 18, 19, whatever, fine. If you're 25, 27 watching this and you still can't get any girls, fix these things first, right? Fix these things first. And then come back to me saying, I look better. I've finally got some nice, perfume or cologne or whatever. I'm dressed well. I've got money in my pocket. I'm driving the car that I want. I'm making the money that I want. I've got the confidence. I'm approaching girls, and then tell me that you have a no look, right? Because all of the things that I outlined, and perhaps even more, these guys don't want to focus on that because that involves doing the hard work. Do you want to get up at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, bust out 3 hours in the gym, come home, work? Do you want to do that for the next year? You see, here's the thing, right? A lot of people's expectations on both ends, men and women, are unrealistic, right? This is another big thing. Yes, we see these videos on the internet of these women who expect a guy to make £500,000 or dollars or whatever. At the same time, and that's another part of the problem. That's a different side. I want to focus on the guys here, right? At the same time, these guys are expecting 10 out of 10s, right? Because the internet exposes both genders to the ideal. The internet exposes women to the best men, right? People who are rich, people who are good looking, people who are of status, etc. So naturally, when people see that all the time, they're going to think it's more normal and more common than what it is. Alternatively, for men, it's like the internet attracts and leads these people to believe in that these women who are absolutely gorgeous and perfect and, look brilliant are everywhere. And they're expecting 11 out of 10 girls when they're 3 out of 10 guys at best. They're not good looking. I said to this guy one time, and I don't mean this in a cruel or evil way, but it was a chat, right? So you expect a nice looking girl. What does a girl look like? Does she look like you? And I was implying to the guy, not in a rude way, that he was on the larger side, let's say. What do you expect a woman to like from you? And then bro goes on about how he expects some slim, like, model type. And it's like, mate, you're not even in shape at all. You're actually significantly out of shape. So why would someone like that expect a decent girl, right? It's less to do with height and more to do with everything else. Height you can't change, right? Looks you can somewhat change, but not entirely. You can get a better haircut, etc. But, not fully. The way you act, what you do in life, the purpose that you're on, you can change, right? You can change. And the reason why a lot of guys, I think, are not dating anymore is not just a number of these factors, but it's the same reason why a lot of guys are not doing anything anymore. Because they don't need to. The challenge, the stress is not there. The delayed gratification is not there. You can live a false ideal of life online, but it's not going to lead to the same level of fulfillment at all. You can live the false online, or you can realize, yeah, I'm 21, I'm 25, I'm 18, I've not got the girls in my life, I've not got the friends in my life, but I am a loser, right? And I'm not trying to be mean here. You guys know if you're a loser or not. I know if I'm a loser or not. I know if I'm on my path. I know if I'm not on my path. I know if I'm making progress. I know if I'm not. You know what you're doing, right? So if you can sit there and say, maybe you're a winner, you know it. If you can sit there and say, I'm not a winner, but I'm on the path, and I can see a path now in 2, 3, 4 years where, damn, life could be amazing, you know it. If you can sit there and say, yeah, well, I play Xbox and I don't really go out very much, I'm not very confident, I've got no money, I'm broke, I'm overweight, I'm underweight. Don't talk about these issues, right? And you can live the false ideals online, but look, I'll make an analogy to all these things. It's like sports, right? You can watch a football match or you can play a football match. You know what? Watching a football match might actually be more electrifying. But it's never going to be the same. It's never going to give you the comprehensive feeling. Whether it's a hot day, cold day, you're not going to feel the heat on your legs when you're wearing your shorts or the cold. You're not going to feel your heart pumping, the anxiety when you've got the ball and you're tackling and etc. It's just like driving a car. I can play Xbox, play Forza, or I can drive a car. I feel the speed through my body. I feel... All of this stuff that people consume online is a lie. You live in a lie. You live in an illusion of what a successful life could look like if you upped your game. And this is across the board, never mind just dating. Get in the real world and watch how your life changes.